$9.7 million 1937 Bugatti Type 57 SC Sport Tourer. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out any of our videos. Modern Bugattis are definitely desirable cars, but they've got nothing on the classic, and Bugatti's 57 model range is about as desirable as an antique car comes. In fact, any 57 would stand out amongst the most sought-after Bugattis among collectors. But this particular 1937 Bugatti's 57 SC Sports Tourer, which features unique bodywork from the British coach builder Van Plas, has created a record in terms of monetary value and is being dubbed as the most expensive Bugatti ever sold. The car sold for $9.75 million at the Bonhams auctions on the sidelines of the Amelia Islands Concours d'Elegance. But the claim of it being the most expensive Bugatti might not be completely true. However, since a 1931 Bugatti Royale held the record for the most valuable car ever for many years after being sold by Christie's for $9.8 million in 1987, for the record, that is nearly $21 million today. And there was also 57 SC Atlantic that was sold for more than $30 million in 2010. Still, there's no doubting that the $9,735,000 this 57 SC sold for is a lot of money. The Bugatti Type 57 and later variants was entirely new design created by John Bugatti, son of founder Ettore. Type 57s were built from 1934 to 1940s with a total of 710 examples produced. Introduced in 1934, the Type 57 marked John Bugatti's emergence as Bugatti's leader and creative driving force. It was the first new model built under his directions, and it incorporated many features new to Bugatti. Its dual overhead camshaft 8-cylinder engine had 5 main bearing crankshaft. The camshafts were driven by a train of helical tooth gears at the engine's rear with a further crankshaft bearing behind them. Finger cam followers minimized side thrust on the valve stems. The Type 57 also marked Bugatti's first use of transmissions fixed to the engine crankcase and a single patch clutch. The top 3 gears in the 4-speed gearbox were constant mesh. A proper Bugatti hollow tube life front axle was suspended by semi-elliptical front and a reverse quarter elliptical rear leaf springs with cable-operated mechanical drum brakes. Despite financial problems, development of the Type 57 continued with the introductions of a stiffened frame and rubber-mounted engine, along with the supercharged Type 57C model in 1936. Driven by the camshaft drive at the rear of the engine, the Roots type supercharger ran at 1.17 times engine speed. This provides a 5 until 6 psi boost and a healthy 160 bhp, which makes close to 120 miles per hour possible. The Type 57 in all its forms attracted discerning owners who were only satisfied with the best, among them land speed record holder Sir Malcolm Campbell, who is nothing but praise for the car. The 57 SC is powered by a 200 horsepower supercharged 8-cylinder engine and is notable for its low-slung chassis design and short wheelbase. This one was restored in the mid-1980s and had been kept by its previous owner for more than 20 years. In fact, the Type 57S or SC variants are some of the most iconic cars ever produced under the 57 series. This was the already fantastic chassis that spawned the Type 57S, where the S stood for surbase or lowered. Virtually a Grand Prix car in touring car guise. Although the 57S shared some features with its progenitor, the differences between the two models placed the 57S in a league of its own. Mechanical excellence was achieved by fitting a modified crankcase with dry-sum lubrications derived from the T59 GP car, including separate scavenge and pressure oil pumps supplied from the 20-liter tank. High compression pistons gave the new engine a significant performance edge, and the clutch was reinforced to cope with the extra output. Ignitions was by a Scintilla Vertex Magneto, driven from the left-hand camshaft. With its low weight, abundant power, and small frontal area, the 57S has suddenly become a very fast automobile. However, the fundamental difference between the 57S and the standard Type 57 lay in the low-slung frame design with its shorter wheelbase. The rear axle passed through the frame, while the ram shock absorbers provided damping cleverly engineered to increase with speed. This new low chassis and the distinctive 57S V-shaped radiator was a gift to the stylist. Just 43 surbase cars and only 2 supercharged Type 57 SC were originally manufactured, but most 57S owners wanted the additional power afforded by the blower. Therefore, most of the original Type 57S car returned to Molsheim for the installations of a supercharger, pushing output from 175 horsepower to 200 horsepower, increasing the speed by a great margin. This particular car with chassis number 57541 was first displayed at the London Motor Show. Later, its wealthy owners raced it in front of the United States and in Europe prior to World War II. Notably, it was also featured in some of Bugatti's period promotional materials. It was originally finished in grey with dark red accents. Armed with a generous amount of international buzz from the preceding weeks, this very special pre-war car had the auction tent packed to capacity with bidders and spectators. With a starting bid of $6 million, the bidding quickly rose to $8 million. Then, followed by a strong applause from the audience, the car sold to a private American collector. In superlative conditions, the Phantom Class Bugatti was valued at $11 until $13 million, heading to the Emilia auctions. It didn't quite get there, but at $9,735,000, the auctioneer surely lauded this as the most valuable Bugatti ever sold at the auctions and the most valuable car ever sold at Amelia Island. British coach builder Phantom Plus put a 4-seat touring roadster body number 3595 on the chassis. The body embodies the typical classic minimalist British style with sporting cut-down doors, which makes it look quite a bit from the other Type 57 still around. The car is powered from a 3,257cc supercharged straight-8 engine which sits under the long bonnet, producing 200 bhp, which then sends power to the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual transmission. The Type 57 SE uses fully hydraulic drum brakes on all 4 wheels to bring it to a top. Part of what makes this car special is its low-slung chassis and short wheelbase. It was restored back in the mid-80s and had been with the current seller for over 20 years. That seller is now sitting on a tidy pile of cash. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing videos from us.